Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Genesis Mindset. I'm going to get straight into it today. As promised, trying to do a video a day or at least 5 to 6 in a week, just because there's always times where I'm like, man, I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about this, but I never do. So I think, well, maybe if I can just do like 10 or 15-minute videos delivering that kind of content, that would still be really good. So for the algorithm to grow. So obviously Genesis mindset for trading and investing is personal opinion only, not financial advice. And in this episode, I actually wanted to do some quick updates on where things are that I see. And then also I want to go over this amazing stream that I saw from CryptoHeartBeat yesterday. So actually Matt and Brandon, Rags to Riches, were two people that really encouraged me to start this. I had a conversation with them in a Zoom that they organized with a bunch of people from the community, how to engage with others to do with cryptocurrency. And I asked them about this and they gave me a lot of really, really good advice. So shout out to you, Matt, and shout out to you, Brandon. So thank you very much. All right. So today's episode, what is real DeFi? So I put this question out to the community. In a way, I think it's something that I'm looking at and going, so when Somi brought that messaging out, I thought, there's something about it which is good, but it doesn't quite hit home. And I'm hearing people like repeat it and we're all kind of voicing it. There's something that didn't quite hit home. And the thing that doesn't hit home, I'm going to cover later why it doesn't actually hit home. So that will be towards the end of the episode. But let's actually continue on with this exploration into Maria. Man, I went into a rabbit hole today. I spent like all day. This is the problem. I'm trying to like run a business and I spent all day going down all these different rabbit holes, trying to figure things out and having different conversations with different kinds of people. It's torturous but fun at the same time. It's fun because it appeals to anyone's sensibility that likes to play games, because that's what this feels like. It feels like this game that we're having with this Maria 414 dev, but it's torturous because it's like this code that sometimes seems clear, sometimes doesn't. So really went down some rabbit holes today. Didn't really honestly get anywhere with it. Just this secret coding and language that you see. Even now, I've seen Zach was mentioning this, and I'd seen it also, but it seemed out of sync with everything. Just all of a sudden, these like hash words or something. In any case, they ended up leading to like a link. Zach was saying so. I looked at that. I'm like, what the hell does this even mean? It doesn't even have like any significance to anything. But there you go. So it's getting tricky to really understand what is going on. So really, what do we follow? What do we ignore? Some of Maria's links, you'll click on them and it's like, what is she talking about? Some of them, it's like, I kind of get what she's talking about, but I don't. Like strawberry shortcake. There's so many strawberry shortcakes. I'm like, who the fuck is strawberry shortcake? What is strawberry shortcake? I don't even know. Oh, it's like a little Disney show. So I don't know what that means. So in any case, so not much. So if anyone figures anything out, please let us all know in the chat, in the description. Teddy bear, ayo, having a big breakout. So it's having a nice breakout, heading to its all-time high, which is really, really good to see. The question is, what do we think? Do we think it's going to break out before the year end? Can we hit some kind of fireworks before the year end? Can we really shout about how amazing Pulsechain is? We've got our meme coins here on Pulsechain, which are killing it. And can we really spread that out to the world to let them know about Pulsechain? Again, that's always been the number one objective that I've seen with Teddy Bear. And I have been very deliberate, much to some people's anger and resentment, about actually really only talking about Teddy Bear. I'm very selective in what I cover. I'm very selective for very deliberate reasons. I'm a very deliberate minded person, very systematically minded person. So there's a very specific reason why I like Teddy Bear. And if you want to know why, you can check out my videos on Teddy Bear. I still think it's going to be the premier meme coin. This is not to poop on the other meme coins. I think they're all amazing. I'm an agnostic. I'm a meme coin agnostic, but everybody wants you to take a side. This is so frustrating. This is part of the problem that I see with this real DeFi, which I'm going to cover later on in the episode. So either way, whatever's actually happening, my LP positions are freaking sweet with all of this volume because there's so much volume. It's number one on Pulsechain today. So let's have a look at this chart. So here, I was drawing this little zone. If it dropped below this red line, it would have been bearish. If it broke above this green line, it would have been bullish. So now it's looking like the bullish scenario. It is now at another key level. So it's going to have to break this level to head to its all-time high. Once it gets to its all-time high, I'm personally going to start to take some profits. And then I might even reaccumulate some on a pullback if there is a pullback. And I'm also setting my targets, maybe like a 2 to 3x from the all-time high where I'll start scaling out. So I'm going to draw a chart where I'm going to do the zone for that and where I'm actually going to set up some LPs for that. Because this, again, my long-term thesis is teddy bear is going to kill it. The bull market has barely started and I'm thinking we're going to get, I don't see why 100 million market cap's out of the question. I don't see why a billion market cap is out of the question. When we're in the euphoric hype of the bull market, $1 billion market caps is not out of the ordinary, especially with everything, how everything is so interconnected on Pulsechain. I think it's going to be very, very possible. So therefore, once it's getting to this next all-time high, I'm going to start, first of all, selling out some positions, and second of all, creating LP positions so that I can accumulate. So if this teddy bear is going down, I'm accumulating teddy bear, accumulating Pulsechain as well, then it's going to come up back to my entry point where I created that LP, and I'm going to have more teddy bear and more Pulsechain because I've provided liquidity and gained fees through all that volume on both sides. And then once it starts going up again, then I'm gaining the Pulsechain, which is what I want in the end as well. So it's a very interesting game to play. So now I've got 4 different clips from that CryptoHeartBeat. So I'm just going to play the clips and comment on them as I go. So this is the very first clip that he was talking about how basically everything is just a tool. So he was talking about a gun at the start and how a gun is just a tool. And I must admit, as an Australian, I was like, oh, here we go, the Americans and their guns. But he actually made a really, really good point. And I maybe shouldn't have said that, not to offend Americans. I think you guys are in a very unique position with your government and with guns. I think it's a very tricky issue. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole either. So let's get into CryptoHeartBeat.
Person animates the tool. So what do we see with the bug eaters? The bug eaters are saying, hey, we're going to animate these tools of government, tools of money, and we're going to weaponize these things to gain control. And so what you do is you animate those tools and you gain power. What would happen, and this is what I've talked about on this channel many times, what would happen if we actually had an abundance and there were people like you and me who said, you know what, I'm going to think about others in addition to myself. That's not a bad idea. What would happen if actually you animated the tool for good? What would that look like? Now, you're still concerned about yourself, right? You're like, hey, I need to make mine. But what would happen if we had a decentralized abundance rather than centralized parties amassing these storehouses of resources?
Loved it. Absolutely loved the core message. Everything in the world is like a tool. Humanity is exploded because of our capacity to utilize tools. That's what separates us from the animal kingdom, from the rest of the animal kingdom. So we therefore can harness nature. Yes, you've got chimpanzees, and yes, there's some phenomenal, I think the 10,000 monkey effect, where you get like monkeys from one side of the world who figure something out with a particular tool, and at the very, like within a certain period of time, monkeys on the other side of the planet also figure out the same thing that hasn't been figured out since like the beginning of time. Fascinating concept. Again, it's like, it's just one mind. So I loved this concept about how the bug eaters use the tools, which is the government, which is the central bank, because the bug eaters created the central bank, but it's like, it's not, just go look it up. It's all there. But it's not something that's like, oh yeah, it's like a privately owned company. What a scam. What a scam. A privately owned company that just controls like the world's money. Basically, it controls America's money, which controls the world's money. So that they, and you really, maybe I think if you're in America, you can see it, but even when you're outside of it and you're watching the movies, you're seeing the news, and you have this like outside objective perspective, and you're just seeing like the beauty of America just decline year after year after year, like all the principles and the beauty of the amendments and the Constitution and what it stood for. But they were the good guys. They were the good guys for so long. After World War II, they were the good guys. Everybody loved them. Like, how could you not love them? I still love them. The people are amazing. It's such a shame to see the way that the country is now, how it's so corrupted, and it's just like this war machine. So that's how they actually use a financial industry. They use it as a war machine to keep producing more money for themselves. And this is something that was set in motion like centuries ago. And so we're still in that momentum of movement with the financial industry. And there's all these ebbs and flows and all their algorithms, how they control all the different kinds of flows of money. But it's a self-centered perspective because it's extracting as much as I can from everybody else for me. And it's like, then we have this issue of the 1%. So what if decentralization, what if real, true decentralization is requiring a shift in mindset that's not about me? So there's this division between centralization and decentralization, and people always bring up the origin address. I even had some guy today on Twitter bringing it up, the origin address, and how it's not central, it's very centralized, but it's actually an incredible idea. It's a safety mechanism. It's a benevolent force for the ecosystem that I think people don't really quite understand. So it's a pool of tokens which equals liquidity that can't easily be bought out, which protects the ecosystem, because easily someone could just come in, buy it all out, and then control the ecosystem. So it's actually something that stabilizes the ecosystem, protects it. It's just phenomenal, but so many people are caught up about that centralized ownership, and I don't blame them. It does require a shift in mindset to really see, well, hang on a minute, this is actually a feature, not a negativity. So then this mindset shift of, how about if we all work together? How about if we all adopt an abundance mindset of giving? If I give to the world, and this is something that I've noticed as a principle of the universe, how just the forces of God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, works, is if you give, the universe gives you back in return. So if you give money, money comes back to you. That's what they all say. Go listen to all the famous people. They didn't steal it from everybody else. Yes, you can actually do it in that way too. Yes, you can. But a lot of them have gratitude. A lot of them have gratitude for the world, gratitude for people, just gratitude for everything, and the money flows into their life. So what about if we adopt that principle to true DeFi?
Person.
Let's go to the next clip.
By the way, we're really excited about this, and we're, on the edge of the technology thing, and we're excited about it. But what's going to make somebody actually put, I don't know, $1 billion into something? You can't get it out, right? You can't get it out of DeFi. There's not that much liquidity. But the future is pretty exciting because there are people who are sitting on assets that aren't bug eaters. Does that make sense to you? What if we were to animate these tools? Not only our resources that we have, but also the assets that we have.
I thought that was another amazing point, and he was talking a lot about the real world assets. So I really liked this particular point. And again, I strongly encourage everybody just to go and listen to the whole thing. So I'm going to move on to the next clip. This is a great little story.
I was banned from PayPal in 2017 for trying to use it to sell crypto. Lovely. Well, they've kind of created a means by which you could sell, or you could swap from whatever token, any, ERC20 token, to PYUSD, and you could use that within a wallet through the website at any kind of PayPal integrated deal. That's pretty cool. But it's just where things are going. And I think that that's the neat thing. Everybody wanted to, in this last go around, they wanted, my token needs to win. No, your token doesn't need to win. You just need to convince a group of people to amass economic value.
I love that. I'm just going to pause that right there. And that is still something that I see throughout all of cryptocurrency. And it's something that I see within the Pulsechain community as well. It's a real shame to me. And it's not going to be something that's going to be easy for people to adapt and change that mentality, that mindset, because it's so ingrained into us from the moment we're born. We're competing with our siblings. We're competing with our friends at school. We're competing with everybody else at school to get the best grades. We're competing with other people to get the best jobs. We're just walking all over everybody here. It's a dog eat dog world. And, this whole Darwinian, only the strongest survive. And that now you get people pushing this narrative out in mainstream society and, be masculine, be alpha, just like dominate everybody. And there's a time and place for it. There's actually a time and place for it, no doubt about it. But when it becomes when that becomes the centralized ownership of your consciousness, then you're corrupted. It's a corrupted mindset because it's taking from the world. And nature is not something that just takes. Nature actually just gives. That's all nature does. It doesn't take anything. It just gives. It just gives, it gives, it gives, it gives, it gives. And how does it flow? It flows infinitely and perfectly. What is out of sync and out of harmony with nature? Humans, because humans just take, 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 take. We have this greed, this endless greed that can't be fulfilled, but it actually can be removed from your mind. That's the beauty of it. So let's keep listening to this.
And energy, and then at some point in time, you can peel that off in a number of different ways. But you're not going to fiat. That's the cool thing about having these intermediary stablecoins, where you get what you want. You get your physical object or good or service for crypto, rather than having to go to fiat and then use fiat to buy. So it's coming, and this is really the mainstream adoption of crypto. But we're not going to see the mainstream until we see the next kind of pandemic and some sort of stimulus money. I really truly believe we're not going to adopt CBDCs without some sort of crisis, and the crisis will be make everyone, just like it happened this last time, right? Destroy their businesses, destroy their livelihood. They still have expenses, and then give them a handout, but tell them the only way that they can get this stimulus money is if they have the government wallet.
Yeah, that's going to be how it happens. Even now, you see these rats crawling away from their obligation, running away from their obligation for the destruction that they caused through COVID. Rats, like truly rats, just weaseling their way out of royal commissions and investigations by the language that they use. And this is very important. This is very important because this is how the world works. The world works on the language, and this is how the law works. The law works on the language. Oh, we never coerced anybody, but basically we said if you don't go to work, if you don't get a jab, you can't go to work. But we didn't coerce you. So you actually did coerce you. You actually did coerce, but you just didn't use those words. This is how the world is. It's a world of like contradictions and lies and people doing all these dodgy things in the background and then accusing everybody else of doing those things when they've done it themselves. It's like, oh. But do we want that? Do we really want that? Do we want to live in a world like that where we're forced into CBDCs? You know what? I like the idea of CBDCs. I like the idea of cryptocurrency having a nice, neat off-ramp into the fiat world. I don't like the idea of crypto, like the whole fiat system collapsing and cryptocurrency being like, yay, we're crypto now. What's going to happen then? It's going to be like total destruction. Everything's going to be turned upside down. I don't like that idea whatsoever. I like the idea of coexisting with the fiat system, but I don't like the idea of being coerced into the fiat system. I think that that's wrong. I think that that takes away people's freedoms and takes away their rights. And not enough people are upset about this. I think this is something that's very important to the core principles of decentralized finance. And again, we say it, but do we really believe it? Do our actions really reflect it?
My biggest fear for Richard Hart is I want to see him have his day in court and be able to fight. But
whoops. So this final clip now is talking about Richard Hart and the SEC case. And I'll let Matt do the talking. Oops.
My biggest fear for Richard Hart is I want to see him have his day in court and be able to fight, but he's going to have to respond to the SEC in order to do that. I think he's smoking them out, hoping that there's a regime change or something like that, or that they take so many L's on other things that it makes them drop the case. But I think a lawyer that was on said, you don't want to see a summary judgment. You don't want them to just say, well, you didn't respond, so we're just going to have summary judgment and you did do this fraud. I mean, it's bad enough right now, the speculation of it, but it would be nice if Richard, in his preparation with good attorneys, would have the opportunity to really score one for the team and really make a strong case that this is a communication network. And to me, it's a First Amendment issue, and I think he's absolutely right. We have to have that ruling. It'd be great to have it. You imagine the Supreme Court basically said, yep, when you write.
I never really understood this point until Matt explained it. I never understood how is this like what the whole like freedom of speech with Pulsechain. I was like, it just sounds like a bunch of made up like crap. Just like whatever. I didn't really get it. But now, after I heard this explanation, I really get it. Have a listen to how he talks about it.
Anything, right? You write a song, you write a poem, you draw a picture of a pony, whatever you create, you code something, that is your speech. And if you think about it, that's what you're doing, right? You have a wallet and you are changing the blockchain, you're writing to it. That's technically what you're doing. And you have no coins, you just have keys. So that's authorship, right? Your keys are the authorship. You say, all right, I'm going to go onto the blockchain. It's sitting there. I've logged in. It's connected to the blockchain. You have to choose what you write. You choose the amount that you swap for, change for, or send to, right? And you write to it. So let's just use a really simple example. Let's say I'm going to send you, $1,000 worth of Ethereum. Okay, what's your wallet? What's your public wallet? Okay, I put the public wallet in there, right? I connect to the blockchain through MetaMask, for example, with my keys. I have at least $1,000 worth of ETH plus the gas fees. And I find your address. Well, you're a person on the other end with your authentication. And I write to the blockchain that this 1,000 is going to go over there. It stays on the blockchain, and that's your evidence, right? And then when you log in, you'll see it in your wallet, but it's really sitting out in the ether on the blockchain, and we wrote to this ledger. I said, this goes to you, and you can't double spend it, and that's why it's so unique, and it's decentralized. That's a big deal. But that's speech. I chose to do that for you. I got your address, a specific person. I decided to pay the fee to inscribe onto the blockchain that send. That's as much a speech as you can get, right? Like making a comment on something, it's protected. And let's hope that that's the way we go.
Yeah, let's really hope that that's the way that we go. And you could really, I really felt for Richard when I saw him on stream the other day. When he spoke about Christmas and, Christmas is much more fun together, isn't it? But he's probably somewhere alone trying to escape. I'm not even trying to escape. It's like, I feel like he's biding his time to keep building a strong case. And some of the points that he came out with on that stream were like some of the points. It's as if he's coming out with the points that he's going to talk about in court or something along those lines. And I really feel for him for that. And let's just say that Richard wins this. I believe in my heart that he will. I believe that he's fighting. I don't believe that he's going to give up. I've said this many times in the past that it doesn't align with his nature. And imagine if he does win. It's not just a win for Pulsechain, it's a win for the entire cryptocurrency community. It will be something that revolutionizes cryptocurrency and the sphere of regulation and the effects of regulation on cryptocurrency for the years to come, because the regulations aren't caught up with it. This is the problem. And so if he is, he's a hero. He's a hero for cryptocurrency, and he's still cops so much shit from people who are paid by companies like Solana and they point out that he's a scammer while they're working for the scammers. It's the contradiction is so blatant. The hypocrisy is so outrageous, but you just have to let it go and keep moving because there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change anybody's mind. So what I want to actually do now is, what is real DeFi? I really want to challenge the community on this. I really want to put this question out. I really want the collective mind of Pulsechain to really go, what actually is real DeFi? What exactly is it to you? So we say, okay, it's freedom of speech, freedom of transaction, freedom of movement. I should be able to put my money wherever the hell I want with nobody else interfering with that and no middlemen. That's what it is for me. I shouldn't need to go to the bank to ask them or to wait 24 hours to get my money sent to a cryptocurrency exchange. And I shouldn't have to wait for a cryptocurrency exchange to authorize me taking out that money, which is mine. And so, what is it actually to all of us? Is it just holding on to my tokens, what I have, just holding on to this, which is mine, and then that's DeFi, that's decentralized finance. Finance is about the movement of money. It's about the movement of liquidity. Is it really that? I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's not. What about to you? That's the kind of question that I'm putting out to the community. What does it actually mean to you? Because right now, this is the number one reason why it didn't really resonate with me. It just felt like empty words. Pulsechain is real DeFi. Pulsechain is real DeFi. But it's like, to me, it's like the same DeFi as all the other blockchains. What about it makes it true DeFi? But I am starting to see things which start to make it true DeFi. To be completely honest, the whole desktop .exe, all that kind of stuff, not really. I mean, I'm sure it is true DeFi, but I didn't really get the vibe of true DeFi for that. For me, like a real decentralized financial system is like an ecosystem that ebbs and flows with the different conditions of the market. And I see that in Pulsechain. I don't see it in Solana. I see Solana go up and then I see everything go down. I see Solana like pump this, and create news articles and pay people and pay influencers, and it gets pumped and everybody gets destroyed and the same 1% just keeps winning. That's what I see there. I don't see a market. I see a market within Pulsechain. I see a healthy ecosystem of different kinds of cryptocurrencies. But I'm sorry to say, we have the same tribalism as every other community. That's also why it doesn't resonate with me as real DeFi. Today, when I actually put out that clip, because I said Atropa in the video, everyone, if you don't have the coin, you get triggered by it. If you've got something in your mind that's like, if you've seen something that you perceive to be negative, you're going to be negative against it. If you've seen something that you don't like, you're going to not like it. So I've heard like some people talk about like liquidity extraction. I was talking to Citrus Squid today, and I don't want to mention names, but he was basically saying it's there. They're extracting money out of Pulsechain and going into Ethereum. And I don't want to defend it, but what cryptocurrency doesn't do that? Like, we've had millions of dollars leave Pulsechain. I have no issue with that. It's people's real DeFi is people being able to freely move their money where they choose. Right now, real DeFi is really just another form of, you just buy my thing. Whatever my thing is, it's like another form of centralization. I want to collect all the energy into the thing that I have. I don't want it to flow anywhere else. Only Pulsex is Westcott Crypto, only Pulsex. And that's great. Go Westcott Crypto. We need like priests who uphold the sanctity of one token. We need that. The nucleus, the core nucleus of believers, they have their place. Everybody's got their place. But the fighting and the toxicity of like this coin and that coin, and even now, like Shane Hart Schuler, like rubbing everybody's shoulders the wrong way. I posted that same thing in a Texan Telegram, and it got deleted. And I got informed why, because of Rob and the things that Rob said. This is the kind of thing that negativity spreads. I wish people knew what it means to be one mind. If you have a pool of water and you drop some dye in the water, it's going to spread a lot in that particular area, but eventually it's going to spread to the rest of the pool. It'll get diluted into the rest of the pool, but it's there. This is how the mind is. The negativity, the toxicity, even if it's fake, even if it's a laugh, it still spreads negativity. I feel like I'm pontificating and telling everybody how to be, and that's not my intention. I'm just trying to objectively and as neutrally as possible explain how the function of the one mind actually works. And tribalism is anti the one mind. Tribalism is division. Tribalism is separation. Tribalism is centralization. Tribalism is selfishness. It's the opposite of real DeFi. Real DeFi should be about sharing, growing together, communicating together, seamlessness, freedom, flowing, community. So, in my opinion, as a community, we actually have to level up our collective consciousness to win. I think this is the only way that we can actually win. If we, I think the really frustrating thing for me is seeing how the Tang Gang is setting an example, such an amazing example about how to interact with communities and how to actually spread awareness of your token. And I actually have been lurking in the Telegram for a while, haven't said much, and I really like them. I really like what they do. I think they're hilarious. And I got banned from there for posting, well, not for posting the Twitter, not for posting the little video clip, which is fair enough. The video clip that I was trying to put out was trying to be like to every section of the community. What is real DeFi to you? What does it mean to you and your community? But with Telegram, okay, if you don't talk about that token, you get kicked. Okay, or it gets deleted. Okay, that's fine. And then I tried to explain myself, only to have like, oh, you're just coping. And then when I tried to explain myself, just get deleted and kicked out. That shit hurts, man. And you know what? I am a soy boy. I am a soy boy, and it is painful to be treated in that manner. And I know it's painful because I know every single human being on the planet feels that exact same pain. You can hide it with your anger. You can hide it with your outrage. You can hide it with pretending to not care, but you feel that pain. You know that it stings to be rejected and neglected like that. And why does it sting? Because it's poison. When you put that energy out into the universe, you are stabbing your brothers and sisters. You are murdering the universe. You're murdering the energy of the universe. But you don't see that. You don't actually see that, how toxic and filthy and rotten it is to the core. I do, because I've been it, and I was it. That was my whole life, being that toxic, negative, like the most negative, most toxic, most anti everything. Then I realized, having that enlightenment, wow, everything is my fault because I had that mind of negativity and toxicity. I just kept attracting it back into my life. And it was like this thing that I just couldn't overcome until I released it from my mind. And I don't think people are going to change. I'm not expecting anyone to change or telling anyone to change. But just instances like this is so sad to me. It's like, we talk about being this great community and real DeFi, but we're not. We're just the same as every other community. Like, I'm sorry to say, we are just the same. I've been into spaces where like one of my friends who's just been given a lot of money that could be coming into Pulsechain, joined that spaces, not to see, oh, I'm going to buy, but, what's a community about? we're a community, right? So what is a community? All the different voices throughout Twitter, throughout spaces, throughout YouTube, newsletters and websites. That's what a community is. It's all the different voices together. And if you go into something where people are just abusing each other and abusing Gary, Gary Funding Jim is like the epitome of outbound marketing. He's like the greatest outbound marketer of this entire community. And to see him just getting shredded by people because I don't even know what the reasons were. It just didn't, and it didn't actually matter what the reasons were. That's a thing. Gary's doing his part. They're doing their part. And having my friend in there listening to all of this and then messaging me like, these guys are, I don't want to put my money into this community. These guys are fucking idiots. And so I went up there and mentioned it and they lost their shit. Well, your friend's a fucking idiot. He can get the fuck out of here. We don't want his fucking money. There's so far to go for humanity to wake up. But in any case, we just keep moving forward. Thank you very much, everybody. It's probably potentially another long episode. It's supposed to be short, but I waffle on a little bit. What is real DeFi? What actually is it? What is community? Why do we have the best community on the planet? I want to challenge you with that. I want to challenge you with that question. I want you to think about it for yourself. Is there anything that you can do to change? Is there anything that you can do to contribute to the community in a positive way? Because negativity is just thorns to others and it just kills them, and it doesn't do anything. It has no positive outcome. There's a part of you that dies with those statements because in the back of your mind, there is a consciousness that knows you're being a piece of shit and you're also killing somebody else. You're killing opportunity. You're killing friendships. You're killing connection. You're killing coexistence. You're killing that oneness, dividing, division, wars, countries. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Take care.